I said it like a joke. "Ava, marry me." Everyone laughed. Somebody clapped. Someone yelled, "Do it!" But Ava didn't laugh. She just looked at me, steady, calm, and said one word. "Finally." The whole backyard went quiet. Not awkward quiet, like oxygen left the room quiet. And right then, I knew two things. She didn't hear a joke. I had no idea what I'd been doing to her for years. My name's Ryan. I'm 29. I live in a normal city. I work a normal office job where everything is urgent and nothing actually matters. I'm the kind of guy who reads a text, overthinks it, deletes it, rewrites it, then sends LOL. Avoids big feelings by being busy. Tells himself he's just being careful, when really, he's just scared. And Ava? Ava is the person I call when my brain won't shut up. She's 27. She works in interior design. She always has gum, always has a charger, and somehow remembers the small stuff you said 2 months ago. And to me, she wasn't the girl I liked. She was my best friend. Which sounds sweet, until you realize it can also be a hiding place. Here's the truth I never said out loud. I liked Ava for a long time, but I never crossed the line because I didn't want to lose her. People always say, "Just tell her." But they don't talk about the part where, if it goes wrong, you don't just lose a date. You lose your person. The one who knows your family stuff. The one who knows what you look like when you're not okay. The one who picks up when you call at 2 a.m. So I kept it safe. I kept it friendly. And I convinced myself that made me a good guy. I didn't realize I was also being a coward. It was a Saturday night. Our friend group did this regular backyard hangout at Leo's place. Nothing fancy. Cheap speaker, a little fire pit, people arguing about what pizza to order like it's politics. I showed up tired. Work had been brutal all week. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw Ava outside trying to carry a box and 2 bags at the same time. I walked up and said, "You're doing too much. Let me help." She smiled and said, "Only if you promise you won't disappear and start talking about work like an old man." I laughed. No promises. It felt normal, comfortable, safe. And that's what makes what happened next so scary. Because I didn't notice the way she looked at me, like she was holding something back. Later, we ended up sitting by the fire. Ava had her knees pulled up, jacket wrapped tight, hair catching the firelight. She handed me a drink and said, "You look exhausted." "I'm fine," I said automatically. She didn't laugh. She didn't tease me. She just said, really quietly, "Ryan, you don't have to be fine all the time." That line hit harder than it should have. Because she was right. And because it didn't sound like something a casual friend says. It sounded like someone who's been watching you for years. I forced a laugh. "Okay, therapist." She smiled, but it wasn't playful. It was the kind of smile people give when they're trying not to show they're hurt. Then Leo stood up and shouted, "All right, honest question." Everyone groaned because we all knew he was about to start one of his stupid drinking games. Who in this group is most likely to get married first? People started pointing and yelling names. Someone pointed at me and said, "Ryan will be last. He overthinks everything." Everyone laughed. I lifted my drink like I was cool with it, But Ava leaned in and said, "They're wrong." I looked at her. "Oh yeah?" She nodded. "You're not impossible. You're just careful." And for a second, I felt something shift in my chest. Before I could say anything, someone yelled, "Then why don't you just marry Ava?" The group exploded. People clapped. Someone started chanting. It was dumb, loud, harmless fun. Except, Ava didn't look amused. She looked still, like she was waiting to see what I'd do. I should have brushed it off. But the alcohol, the fire, the noise, and the way she was looking at me, like she already knew the truth, made me feel brave for half a second. So I raised my drink and said, loud enough for everyone, "Ava, marry me. I swear I'd treat you better than anyone." Everyone laughed, but Ava didn't. She turned toward me slowly. Her expression wasn't shocked. It was calm, serious, almost relieved. Then she said, "Finally." The laughter died. I felt my heart slam against my ribs. "Wait," I said, trying to laugh it off. "Finally what?" She didn't look away. "Finally," she repeated. "You said it out loud." And suddenly the backyard felt too small. Because something real had just happened in front of everyone. Ava touched my arm. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded because my mouth forgot how words work. We walked to the side of the house where it was darker and quieter. The music was distant. The laughter became background noise. Ava took a breath like she was about to jump. "I didn't plan to say that," she whispered. I stared at her. "Ava, what is happening?" She looked down, then back up, and I saw it. Fear. Not fear of me, fear of being seen. "I've liked you," she said, "for a long time." My stomach dropped. She kept going fast, like she was afraid I'd interrupt. "I didn't tell you because you're my best friend, and I couldn't risk losing you. So I stayed quiet. I laughed at the jokes. I acted like it didn't hurt when people said you'd never settle down." Her voice cracked. "But tonight you said it, even as a joke, and I couldn't pretend anymore." I stood there like an idiot, because I wanted to say something clean and simple, but my feelings weren't clean or simple. I didn't know what I felt, and that was the worst answer possible. Ava wiped her face quickly, like she hated that she was close to crying. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. "I'm moving." I blinked. "What?" "I got offered a job," she said. "Another city. I'm leaving next month." My chest tightened. "I wasn't going to tell anyone yet," she said, "but I can't leave without saying this. I can't take this feeling with me and pretend it was nothing." Then she looked me dead in the eye. "I don't need an answer tonight," she whispered. "I just needed you to know." That's when it hit me. This wasn't a cute confession. This was a deadline. And if I did nothing, I wasn't just avoiding a relationship, I was choosing to lose her. We went back to the fire. We smiled. We pretended to be normal, but everything felt different. That night, I barely slept. I lay on the couch staring at the ceiling, replaying her words. "I've liked you for a long time." Then my brain started pulling up memories I'd ignored. How she always stayed near me in crowds. How she got quiet when I talked about dating apps. How she always texted, "You home safe?" How she looked disappointed when I joked about being alone forever. It wasn't new. I was just late. Later that day, my phone buzzed. "Ava, did you get home safe?" We'd texted that 1,000 times, but now it hit different. I replied, "Yeah, you?" She answered fast, "Yeah, Ryan, are we okay?" I stared at the screen. Then I typed the only honest thing I had. "I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to lose you." She replied, "Same." And that one word felt like a door still being open. A few days later, Ava asked if I wanted to go for a walk. We met at a park near her apartment. She showed up in a hoodie and sneakers, hair messy from the wind. She looked like the same Ava I always knew, but I felt like I was seeing her for the first time. We walked for almost 2 hours. At some point, she said, "I'm scared." I exhaled. "Me too." She stopped walking and looked at me. "Ryan," she said, "do you feel nothing? Be honest." That was the moment, because nothing would have been easier than lying. I looked down, then back at her. "I feel something," I admitted. "I just don't know what it means yet." Ava nodded slowly. "Okay," she said. "That's enough for now." And somehow, that gentle patience made me want to be better. The next weekend, our friends had a movie night. I was nervous the whole drive. When I got there, Ava was already on the couch. She scooted over to make space. Little move, huge meaning. Our friends noticed. Raised eyebrows, smirks. That quiet interest people have when they sense a story. Halfway through the second movie, the blanket was over our legs, and Ava's hand found mine. My body froze for half a second. Then I held her hand back. Not dramatic, just steady. And that's when I realized I wasn't panicking. I wasn't running. For the first time, I felt calm. After the movies, when everyone started grabbing jackets, Ava touched my arm. "Can we talk outside?" We stepped onto the balcony. Cold air, city noise far away. Ava leaned on the railing and said, "I can't be halfway with you forever." My heart tightened. "I know." She turned toward me. "Then what are we doing?" I ran my hand through my hair. "This is going to sound stupid," I said, "but I'm scared of ruining the best thing I already have." Her voice got softer. "And I'm scared of watching you choose someone else while I pretend I'm fine." Silence. Then she said the line that broke me. "I love you, Ryan." No drama, no performance, just truth. My chest felt like it was closing, because the truth was, I didn't want to imagine my life without her. Not as a friend, not as a maybe, not as someone I call when I'm lonely. I wanted her in the boring parts, the ordinary parts, the future parts. So I stepped closer. "Ava," I said, voice low. "I can't say it back if I'm not sure." Her face fell for a second. Then I said, "But I can say this." She held her breath. "I want to try. For real." Her eyes filled instantly, and she nodded once, like she didn't trust herself to speak. We didn't rush into some perfect movie kiss. We stayed close, breathing the same air, letting it be honest. Then I kissed her, soft, careful, like I was afraid the world would break. When I pulled back, she whispered, "Thank you." And in that moment, I knew something important. This wasn't a random spark. This was something that had been growing quietly for years. 2 days later, Monday morning, I got a call from my mom. "Ryan," she said, "your cousin is engaged. We're doing a family dinner Friday." I already knew what was coming. "Bring someone," she added. I laughed. "Mom, I'm not bringing someone." She sighed dramatically. "You're almost 30. Don't come alone." I should have said no, but my mouth moved before my brain caught up. "I might," I said. After I hung up, I stared at my phone. Then I texted Ava. "Family dinner Friday. Want to come with me?" 3 dots appeared immediately. "Are you sure?" she wrote. I swallowed and typed, "I'm sure enough to ask." She replied, "Then yes." And that's when it hit me. The joke was gone. This was real. Friday night, Ava came to my place before we left. Simple outfit, hair down, nervous smile. "You look nice," I said like an idiot. She laughed quietly. "You look terrified." "I am." She stepped closer and adjusted my collar, her fingers shaking a little. "Hey," she whispered. "We'll be okay." In the car, my hands gripped the steering wheel too tight. Ava reached over and held my hand. Not because it was romantic, because she knew I needed it. At dinner, my mom noticed instantly. Her eyes lit up like she'd won a prize. "This is Ava?" my mom asked, already loving her. Ava smiled politely. "Yes, ma'am." My dad didn't say much, but later, when Ava went to the bathroom, he looked at me and said, "You care about her." It wasn't a question. I nodded. "Yeah." He gave a small smile. "Don't waste time then." That line stayed with me, because it felt like permission and a warning. After I dropped Ava home, we sat in the car outside her apartment building. Neither of us wanted to move. Ava looked at me and said, "This feels scary and good." I laughed softly. "Yeah." Then she turned serious. "Ryan," she said, "I need to know something." I swallowed. "Okay." "If you wake up one day and decide this was a mistake," I interrupted gently, "I won't." Her eyes filled again. "How do you know?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. "Because I've been calling you my best friend like that was the highest place you could have in my life," I said. "But the truth is, you've been the center of it." Ava's lips parted slightly. "And I didn't see it," I continued. "Not until you forced me to." She laughed through tears. "So, what are we now?" I exhaled. "We're us," I said. "But I want more. I want the real thing." Ava nodded, tears rolling. "Okay," she whispered. "Me too." I leaned in and kissed her forehead. And for the first time in a long time, I felt calm. A few months later, our friends stopped teasing and started smiling in that knowing way. Sometimes Leo would still joke, "So, when's the wedding?" And Ava would roll her eyes. But then she'd look at me and her expression would soften. Because we both knew how it started. Not with some perfect confession, not with fireworks, but with one careless sentence that accidentally told the truth. People think love is always loud, but sometimes love is quiet. Sometimes it sits right next to you for years, laughing at your jokes, holding your secrets, waiting for you to stop hiding behind the safest word in the world: friend. I once asked my best friend to marry me as a joke, and she said something that changed everything. Finally,